Warning: this episode contains mentions of suicide. You have been warned. Hello everyone, welcome to the Spooky Noodles Podcast. Today we'll be covering the legend of Polybius. The author of this story is unknown. Being a gamer who also loves conspiracies, Polybius has always been one of my favorite creepypastas, and I'm really excited to be covering it. But anyways, what's so special about an arcade cabinet? Polybius is an urban legend about a rare arcade game released in 1981. The game was created by a mysterious company called Sinneschlossen, German for sense deletion, and was a puzzle/shoot-'em-up somewhat like Tempest. It was only released in a few suburbs of Portland, Oregon. It was supposedly very popular, with people forming long lines to play it. However, players reported strange things about the game, such as hearing a woman crying and seeing grotesque faces out of the corner of their eyes. Players would also have nightmares, experience nausea, headaches, blackouts, or even develop amnesia. Some even committed suicide. Others stopped playing video games altogether, and at least one became an anti-video game activist. According to one owner of an arcade, men wearing black suits would often come to collect records from the game. They did not take any money, simply data on gameplay. Because of this, the leading theory is that it was some sort of government experiment using subliminal messages. The game remains in obscurity as around 1 month after its release, all of the cabinets suddenly disappeared. One cabinet reappeared in an arcade in 1998, but quickly disappeared again. While some have tried to recreate the game, no one has ever found the original ROM. As I mentioned earlier, Polybius is incredibly reminiscent of MKUltra. Although MKUltra ended in 1973, it shares some similarities. Some of you may be wondering what MKUltra is and why I keep mentioning it. Let me explain. MKUltra was a project started by the CIA in 1953. The goal of the project was to gain the ability to force confessions through psychological means. Throughout the project, all sorts of methods were used. They varied from forced drug use to psychological torture. Citizens of the United States, as well as Canada, were used as test subjects in the MKUltra experiments. If you want to learn more about the project, check the link in the description. The timeline and side effects both line up pretty closely with MKUltra. It is possible that the story was inspired by exactly that, especially when you consider the fact that Men in Black would collect data from the cabinets. There are quite a few fan-made versions of the game. I've always been interested in playing Llamasoft's 3D interpretation of the game, as it looks like a blast. Quick fun fact, that game was used in a 9 Inch Nails music video. If you enjoyed this analysis, please consider sticking around for more. Next Sunday, we will be covering the story of another reptilian SCP. Our sources are linked in the show notes. If you've got any suggestions or tips for future episodes, please contact us at our email spookynoodlespod@gmail.com or at our Twitter @spookynoodles. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. Make sure to keep your taste for horror alive by watching the next episode of Spooky Noodles on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or YouTube. Thank you for listening.